What's up, guys? It's your girl Phoenix Novell, and I want to say thank you for tuning into another Boss Bitch Tips episode. And this episode is called Why You Should Wait to Meet Your Partner's Children. I've had this experience twice in my life, actually. The first time it happened, I was in my early 20s, maybe 2021, and I was dating a guy who had a son. He had to be, I think I want to say 3 or 4, probably 3. And I really liked the guy. You know, he was the kind of guy that I like in terms of having audacity, and I'm really into guys who just kind of like go after what they want, not who wait for me to make the move and just try to kind of like let me take the lead. I like a guy who's more assertive. So I didn't notice him, is what I'm trying to say. And he saw me, he was interested, and he came and talked to me, and that's kind of how we got into a relationship. So I think after a few dates, he told me that he, had a son or whatever, and I wasn't extremely crazy about it, because I never really saw myself having children or raising children or, really being around children. Although they cool, I don't mind them, but in terms of me actually popping something out or, being with somebody who has some, especially young ones, that if they split custody with their baby mama, that I would definitely have some interaction with. I really didn't see myself doing that, because I don't cook like that. I'm learning for myself, but I don't really cook like that, and I didn't really, I never really had that mothering kind of vibe or desire and instinct. But I like the dude, and I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. So it was cool for a little bit, because like I said, him and his ex shared joint custody of the kid. So it wasn't like he was with him all the time, but he was with him enough for me to feel like, okay, yeah, I know he has a son. He is a father. I would see him being a parent. I would see him, just being there and putting fatherly duties first and taking care of him. And that was kind of like, it was a turn on as well, because he was taking care of his responsibilities. He was holding down a job and making sure that he was, getting his son when he could get his son, and treating him to places. And his son was a cutie. He was overall cool. But I remember one day I was laying in the bed, I think, and I believe my ex dude at the time was like, I think in the living room, maybe watching TV or doing something. And all of a sudden, his son ran into my bedroom and climbed on my bed and just spit in my face. Like he was drinking apple juice, and he just spit it in my face. And I remember, I was in shock, just thinking to myself, I know this kid ain't just spit in my face, just deliberately, just got on the bed just for that purpose and just started laughing. And I remember jumping up, thinking to myself, what the hell, what? I couldn't believe it. And then I called my ex and was like, yo, get in here. And he came in, and I told him what happened. He was just like, he went crazy, just like, how dare you disrespect her like that? Just definitely disciplining him. And I think that's kind of when I was just like, the little bit of tolerance I had, just kind of went to the wayside, because I was just like, oh my gosh, the fact that this young child could do something like this and think it's funny, and then I ain't even his mama. I'm sitting here doing this because of a man that I love and I want to be with. This is his seed. And it turned me off so bad, to the point where I just started seeing the responsibility of being like a stepmama in the making as a burden, and I say this because, yeah, I like the dude, but the dude wasn't perfect. We fought, we got into arguments, he was unfaithful, and as open and accepting I was of him and his child and his life, the risk wasn't worth the reward, is what I'm saying. So the reason why this episode is called this is why I say you need to wait, is because in the beginning, everything is beautiful, usually, especially if, you guys go on a couple dates first or whatever, and you don't see the kid right away. In your mind, you're just like, okay, you're getting to know the person. You like the person. You're seeing their representative and talking to them, and everything seems cool. And you're just basically kind of like putting your compatibility close together for examination. And so the more you find that you like the person, can see y'all together, the more chance that you're accepting of what they come to the table with. And if there is a lot of physical attraction and chemistry there, then the chances of you really having a problem with them having a kid by somebody else really goes down. And I was young, at the time, which also plays a big factor, because you're not really thinking in terms of money and financial security and providing and nurturing. You're thinking in terms of, oh, this is fun. Your mind isn't really thinking more mature. Not to say it isn't, but usually. And I definitely wasn't in that space. But I wish I would have waited, because had I been a little bit more selfish in the beginning at that young age, I would have probably not been so accepting of, I would have maybe vetted him a little bit more. I'm talking about the guy, so that I could tell more if we were compatible. But I let him take the lead, because that's the kind of guys I'm into. And I didn't really hold him off just to see what he was about. What happened was, meeting him really fast, meeting his son really fast, I got attached to that kid, and kind of playing this role. And it's harder to walk away from a relationship when you are kind of invested in more than the person that you're with. The kids are innocent, not this one. He was a little baddie, but overall, they're with whoever their mommy or daddy is with. That's the ride. And most of us have been there before, where we were raised by step parents, and it didn't always work out. Sometimes it was great, but I realized that I wanted to be the kind of person that gave this child a great experience with a new partner with his father that wasn't his mom, intimately or whatever. And it was I wasn't feeling it, and much later, the second time that I started dating a guy who had a kid, he wanted me to meet his kid right away. He talked about it. He was proud to be a dad, and he had a daughter. She was a little older. She was 5. She was still very young, still a little, and when I met her, she wasn't in school yet. She hadn't gone in kindergarten yet. But she was old enough to be, active, playing around, very inquisitive. She was very girly and to do girly stuff. But we dated, I want to say, and we saw each other every single day, me and this guy. We started off as actually people who enjoyed each other's presence. 2 grown-ups enjoying each other's presence, basically. And immediately it kind of just escalated into a full-blown relationship. I didn't see coming. He didn't see coming. And it just was what the hell? And that relationship didn't work out in the long run. We were together for probably 3 months total. But I didn't meet his daughter until about 1 month after we were together. And when I say together, I mean together every single day. Me and this dude was together every single day. And so I got a chance to really see him, to get to know who he was, to meet his father, to be in his house, but I left every morning. The girl woke up. Every morning his daughter woke up, I was out of his bed before she even woke up. And it was like that because I wanted it to be like that. I did not want to rush in with him in the event and then, basically develop a relationship with her. And then just that quickly as me and him fizzle out, now I have to pull myself apart from her. And she was older than the boy, from years ago. But, and that was another thing. She was older, so she could remember me. And I'm just sensitive to that. I don't think that that's a good look. And I think that parents should be very careful with who they invite around their children. listen, sometimes it's a package deal, and people want you to know up front, you get, I come with this, and they want to sometimes see how the child reacts to you too. So I get that, but I just feel like before you even open that door, you need to consider how you feel about this person. Do you trust them? Do you like them? Do you guys create good positive energy together? Do you have similarities? Are you comfortable with each other? Do you see a future? Define your relationship so that the child isn't confused about where they stand or what's going on, and you don't create any unnecessary pain. When relationships end, there's already pain to deal with. You're already in a situation where you have to kind of deal with the loss or the separation, especially if there was real feelings there. You have to deal with these changes, and to add on top of that, a child having to, forget you basically, or you having to let go of a child, depending on your personality, that's just extra loss. So don't rush to meet the kids, because if you're compatible with the person, you got all the time in the damn world, until this place is finished with us. But while you're here, just take it slow and get to know the person. Make sure you check yourself. Even if they're rushing into something, you be the one that pull back and say, you know what, let me hold up on that, so that I'm in a place where I'm comfortable to be consistently in this person's life, and also assess whether or not, if the relationship doesn't work out, are you out? Especially if you develop a kind of close bond with the child. Are you out? Are you done? Or would you like to maintain that relationship? Because that matters too. Why should we have to separate our bond if we're close, you and the child, because me and your daddy ain't work out? That's the way it is sometimes. And it's it can hurt, because one should not disrupt the other. Understand, it sounds messy, it could be messy, but I just feel like it helps in the long run for everybody to think in terms of just in terms of the seriousness of it. It's fun in the beginning, you're meeting somebody new, but once you bring a child into the situation, it's not about intimacy and attraction and love in terms of that physical carnal thing that you share with this other, with your partner. It's about nurturing and cultivating and teaching and being a good example and rearing, and you have to be mature enough to deal with that, and to deal with what it feels like to have somebody that you develop a bond with taken away from you because they're no longer with your parent. So that's my little advice. Hopefully you guys found some help if this is a situation you're dealing with. If you have any questions or any topics that you want me to cover, make sure to email me at askthebawse, BAWSE, @gmail.com. Again, that's ASKTHEBAWSE @gmail.com. It's your girl, Phoenix Novell. Peace.